Today we're going to continue our tour of classic Italian pasta dishes. We're doing one that's a little bit of a riff on a pasta dish from the Pugliese region. It is a stellar weeknight option. You can whip it up in 20 to 30 minutes. Only requires chopping up of a few key ingredients. Today we're doing sausage broccoli orecchiette pasta. Welcome back to Big Time Eaters. Welcome back to Big Time Recipes. I'm your host Ezra, and let's talk about the ingredients. Some baby broccoli chopped up, Italian sausage removed from the casing, orecchiette pasta, chicken stock, half a bunch of parsley, sun-dried tomatoes, thinly sliced garlic, red chili flake, extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper to taste, Parm Reggiano, and Pecorino Romano. The broccoli sausage pasta that we're doing today is hailed from a dish in the Pugliese region called Cime de Rapa, where they use broccoli raw, blanched in salted water, tossed with a fatty meat source. It could be sausage, anchovies, etc., to make a sort of fatty emulsion mixed with some starchy pasta water to make a wonderful velvety sauce and mouthfeel. First things first, since this dish comes together pretty quickly, over there you can see we put the pot over at boil, and we want to go lighter with the salt because there is a lot of salt content in everything that we're going to be putting into this dish. Just a pro tip there. And we're going to go in with some extra virgin olive oil just to coat the bottom of the pan and start building our fatty emulsion sauce. And as you probably noticed, I've got a glove on. That's because we're going to be breaking up our Italian sausage into little chunks. Put it into the pan. And just try to keep them semi-similar size. You don't got to be too particular about it. This is a very rustic dish, and don't worry about crowding the pan in this either, because we're looking for that fat to render. Once that fat renders, it'll kind of cook in its own juices, and then we'll get that nice browning. And one thing to note when you're cooking this is to just break up the little chunks if you see any that are like massively too big, so that you have, in general, similar sized portions of sausage. We're going to go in with our baby broccoli in here now. Just get it all in there and spread it out so that it has contact with the pan. And we've got a decent amount of fat rendered out, but I do think that we'll need a little bit more extra virgin olive oil just so that we can get a nice color on our broccoli. Going with a nice squeeze of olive oil, just around probably another tablespoon or so. So yeah, we'll just leave it like that. Let the broccoli cook down for a couple of minutes, and we'll check back. At this point, our pot of water is about to be ready to be boiling, so we'll add our pasta in. Cooks in about 9 to 10 minutes for an al dente texture, and we'll wrap this up. All right, guys, so we got some nice color on our broccoli now. You can see that piece of broccoli there has gotten some nice browning. And of course, one thing I forgot to mention is if you don't like the crunch of the broccoli, if you want it softer, you can of course blanch it for a few minutes before adding it in, more similar to that Cime de Rapa. But I do like that little bit of texture here. You saw we just put our pasta into the pot there. One thing to note about that is I would recommend using a bronze die cut or slow dried pasta so you get the nice craggly edges that can pick up what's going to become our sauce, and it releases a little bit more starch, a little bit better quality, goes a long way in Italian dishes. So now that we've got our broccoli to where we want it to be, we're gonna open up a little well in the center and add in our sliced garlic. And if you don't like these little thin slices, just little slivers of garlic, of course you can just mince it. But I like the little textural difference because these garlic little chips crisp up very nicely, and it's a nice little textural difference as you're eating through your pasta. Along with that garlic, we're gonna add in our red chili flake and then our sun-dried tomato. This is a secret hack right here for some excellent flavor. Now we'll let that go. In a few minutes, once this is just about to turn golden brown and crisp, we'll add in our starchy pasta water as well as our chicken stock to stop that cooking and then build that sauce emulsion in our pan here. All right, guys, so we can see here we've got kind of a contrast of garlic, some that's gotten a little bit more attention, a little more crispy, and some that's more mellowed out. That's where I like it. I don't like there being too much of the same sort of texture. I like some pieces of garlic crunchy, some pieces of garlic, you get that nice punch of garlic flavor. And at this point, we can add in some of our factors to deglaze. The first one being some chicken stock. Got half a cup here. That's gonna help scrape off anything that's stuck to the bottom there, as well as added another layer of flavor. Of course, if you don't have chicken stock on hand, just use the pasta water. That's perfectly fine. You're still gonna have a ton of flavor. That's just another one of those chef tricks if you want to add another little bit. Then we'll go in with a little bit of our pasta water as well. And our pasta in the pot is about to be done in just a couple of minutes. So we're gonna let this reduce down a little bit and start to become more sauce-like. Let's go ahead and get it in and get it tossed up. And we're just about ready to eat. Adjust pasta water as needed. It is looking a little bit dry on initial examination, so I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of this pasta water. This is definitely one of those greater than the sum of its parts meals. You take each individual ingredient, it's like, okay, this isn't anything crazy, but when it all comes together, it's like, damn, that's a good bite. And then a touch more pasta water here. At this point, I'm going to add in majority of our parm and save a little bit for garnish. Last but not least, guys, is the bunch of parsley that we chopped up. That is going to add a nice break from all the fatty, wonderful richness of this dish, and I'm going to save a tiny bit for garnish. And let's serve this thing up. All right, guys, we got it plated up here. All I did to add for final garnish was a little bit more parsley, a little bit more of that Parm Reg, and a little bit of crushed black pepper. So let's go ahead and dive in. And one fun fact here, orecchiette actually means little ear. That's what the little shape means. Looks like a respectable bite. So there's a bite for you, and a bite for me. That is one of those perfect food moments. You get the beautiful sweetness of the broccoli, a little bit of that bitterness. It works really well together with that Italian sausage, the pungent cheese of the Parm Reg, that sun-dried tomato bringing a little bit of brightness, and that parsley kind of wrapping things up so it's not too fatty and rich. And then, of course, that perfect al dente bite of the orecchiette. With that being said, let's go ahead and get the Dens test.
We want food. We want food. The Dens test has arrived. Let's give it a bite.
Fork versus spoon gang, comment down below.
Spork, spoon, or fork? Which one? Let's get it loaded. It really does look like little ears, like deformed ears. Cheers. Okay. Guys, initially, right, you taste that crushed red pepper. It's got that kick. It's delicious. Second, you get the olive oil taste, which is always nice. And then the best part, my favorite, is the sausage.
Favorite part is
the meat.
Sausage.
That, you know, the Italian sausage flavor is always strong. So overall, it's a solid meal. Give it a 10 out of 10, which means it's going to my bed.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in for another big time recipe. Please give this one a try. It's a perfect weeknight meal or weekend meal to share with the family. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when we're uploading, and share with your friends and family. That being said, I'll catch you in the next video.